Hello, my name is Becki Herbert, and I want to share with you how God took a very difficult and painful season of my life and later redeemed it for His glory. I grew up with my parents and 3 older siblings. Our family didn't attend church, but I always believed that God existed. As a teenager, I got involved in the wrong crowd of friends, wanting to fit in and looking for love and acceptance in all the wrong places. I became sexually active. The subject of sex was taboo in my household, so my parents never discussed it with me. At the age of 16, in my junior year of high school, I became pregnant. I knew I couldn't tell my parents, so I told my best friend. When I told my boyfriend, he said to get rid of it, and he broke up with me. I felt alone, devastated, and scared. My friend took me to the local Planned Parenthood, where they confirmed my pregnancy. When I told the woman at the clinic that my boyfriend wasn't in the picture anymore and that I couldn't tell my parents about the pregnancy, she advised me that the best option for me was to have an abortion. I was told it would be a quick and easy procedure that would end all of my problems. There was no mention of any physical or emotional consequences that I could possibly experience. I wasn't informed of any other options, and I didn't receive any counseling. The abortion clinic was out of town, and my appointment had to be during the week, so I skipped school, and my friend drove me to and from the abortion clinic. I was awake during the procedure and very aware of the nightmare I was experiencing. As I walked into my house later that day, I had to put on the best acting job of my life. My parents had no idea what I had been through that day or the pain that I was in. I quickly learned to bury my feelings in order to survive. From that day forward, life had to go on as normal, but life was anything but normal. I was drinking, smoking, and became sexually promiscuous. The following year, my senior year, at age 17, I became pregnant again. It was the same exact nightmare all over again, but with a different boyfriend this time. He also told me to get rid of it and broke up with me. So I went to the same Planned Parenthood and had another abortion. By now, I was emotionally numb and was just going through the motions. I continued the next 3 years in very unhealthy relationships until the Lord brought my future husband into my life. Thankfully, he was very understanding when I shared my past with him. Months later, we were married, and by the grace of God, we had our first daughter who was healthy and beautiful. But sadly, life was becoming rapidly unbearable. I was plagued with guilt, shame, anger, depression, fear, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts, to name a few. It was becoming very evident that I needed serious help. I had no idea that all the things I was feeling were because of the abortions. In September of 1992, some friends invited my husband and I to a Billy Graham crusade in Portland. As I listened to him speak, God was showing me that I needed him in my life. I knew in my heart he was the only one that could save me. That night I went forward and I committed my life to Jesus. I started attending church for the first time, made some close friends, and got involved in ministry. After the birth of our second healthy and beautiful daughter, the Lord began to show me that I needed to deal with the choices that I had made in my past. The grief and regret started to surface that I had buried for the last 8 years. One night, I confided in a friend from church about my abortions, and she shared that there was a post-abortion Bible study support group called Heart. As I went through the group, God did an amazing work of healing in my heart. After completing the group twice to honor each of my babies, I no longer lived with guilt and shame. Over time, the long list of other symptoms that had plagued me were gone. I was finally able to live in peace and freedom. After experiencing God's love, forgiveness, and transforming power in my life, it made me realize the importance of coming alongside other women in their journey of healing. So I received training to become a group leader. Women who find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy don't usually receive adequate pre-abortion counseling and don't understand the possible intense emotional responses. There are different factors and reasons that lead a woman to choose abortion, and not all women are affected the same way. Some are believers and some are not. Even though society says that it's a woman's right to choose, many women don't realize they are making a choice that can possibly lead to a spiritual and emotional crisis. So many women are told that abortion will end their problems and life will go back to normal. But the scars of abortion are often so deep that women have difficulty sharing their pain with others. Today, I lead groups through Redeemed, which is a confidential, compassionate, and judgment-free ministry where women who have been directly impacted by abortion can share their stories, realizing they are not alone. It's a time to allow God to heal their hearts, and it's an opportunity for women to grieve the loss of their child. It's always an amazing blessing and privilege for me to witness how God transforms lives.